Hi guys, good evening. Welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be doing my episode review for the latest episode of AMC's The Terror, which premiered just a few minutes ago. I just got done watching it, and this was another good episode. Very good episode. Now, before I keep going on, of course, and I keep talking too long and too much, please be warned this is a spoiler-filled episode review. If you're not caught up on The Terror by this episode or the past couple episodes, do not keep watching or listening, as I will be going into spoilers. So, you have been warned. That being said, great episode. Really great episode. We not only did we get the name of the creature, but we also surprisingly got a pretty decent first look at it too. It's definitely polar bearish, which is very surprising because in my mind I pictured it to look like the Yeti or the abominable snowman, whatever you want to call it. I always pictured it being like more of an ape-like primate type creature, but I guess it's more of like a demonic evil spirit polar bear. And we got its name, and we learned a little bit about it, and we got a pretty decent look at it while it was chasing Blanky around. I think that's the guy's name, the guy who just lost his leg. Spoiler alert, by the way. And I'm also surprised that he wasn't killed when he fell from the ship's oh God, I want to call it the crow's nest, but if I'm using the wrong term, I apologize. But I'm surprised he wasn't killed, and when he was left hanging there in the cold, I thought he was dead, and I'm like, oh, I liked that guy. But it turns out they bring him down below, and they just chop off his leg, and he seems okay. Ooh, that was a tough scene to watch too, sawing through his leg like that. But this episode was great because not only did we learn more about the creature, the threat itself, but we saw some great character conflict moments. We saw tensions come to a head between the two captains. Francis went as far as punching Fitzjames, and Fitzjames, exposed him for being the drunkard that he is, or for stealing like 16 bottles of whiskey, I believe, from the Erebus or from the Terror. And then we saw things intensify between the men and Lady Silence. She wasn't so silent in this episode as she called out Francis for not being able to stop this thing and wanting to die and stuff like that. She calls him out. And then I do like that Good Sir was still very much sympathetic towards her and trying to communicate with her and creating an Inuit dictionary, as he called it. But, this episode was just so good with all of these great character moments. Like, we had the two former lovers where the Mr. Hickey gave his former lover a ring in exchange for information or something like that. And then we also saw one guy starting to lose his nerve and getting scared and nervous about bringing the corpse down there to the bottom of the ship. And then Hickey offering to help him, and he claims that he hears their voices down there when really it's not their voices, but most likely rats. And there's just so many great character moments in this episode, between different sets of characters and then big groups of characters. Like we saw the two doctors riffing each other, like Good Sir, got to throw a jab at his boss saying, "Have you ever been invited to a wedding, doctor?" That was pretty funny. And, the situation is only worsening for them, of course, but it's nice to see, that they can still find humor amongst each other in such dire circumstances and situation. I'm also glad that Francis is stepping back as captain or relinquishing command because he says he's about to suffer from an illness, although I'm a little confused if he's referring to alcoholic withdrawal or if he's actually sick with something else. Like if there's some sickness he's been withholding from his officers, withholding from the crew, but it's finally starting to surface and he's going to start feeling and looking it. Or if he's just choosing to go cold turkey and not drink anymore, but that's going to make him turn, very, very sick, like physically ill. So I'm wondering if that's the illness he's referring to, is his alcohol withdrawal, and that's why he's finally relinquishing command. And it's probably for the best as well, because he probably isn't thinking clearly or making the best decisions if he was drinking all the time. So it's good, even though he was reluctant to. I'm glad to see him relinquish command and turn it over to Fitzjames, even though he's making Lieutenant Little his proxy, sort of his liaison to Fitzjames, who is now in command of the mission, of the men. So that was pretty. I was happy to see that. But overall, I was just very surprised. I mean, I'm not complaining, obviously, but I was just very surprised. We got a decent first look at the creature. Not only do we learn its name, but we got a pretty good look at it, and it pretty much is like a very mobile, demonic looking polar bear. It's not a polar bear, but I think that's just the form it takes, or it chooses to take. I'm not sure if it's a shapeshifter or not, but we learned its name and we learned more about it, and we saw a pretty awesome chase scene between it and Blanky as he was crawling up to the crow's nest and trying to distract it so his men could shoot at it with a cannon. And as weird as this sounds, I'm really, really glad they didn't kill it, because at first I thought, oh crap, did they kill it so that's it for the monster? Now the rest of the show is about them going to try to fight the elements and just the struggle for survival. But fortunately for us viewers, but not fortunately for those guys, the creature got away, just leaving a trail of blood behind. So at least the monster is still a threat for now. It's still out there. And at least Blanky survived just despite losing a leg. So another good episode. Although, there were some moments that weren't exactly clear to me. Like, I'm not sure what Good Sir is trying to do with opening up the tin food and then taking those beads that Lady Silence left behind and then feeding it to the captain's pet monkey. I'm not sure what kind of experiment he's going for here, what he's trying to prove or test or figure out. I guess we'll find out in the next episode or so. But I don't know. It was all for fun television, so I enjoyed it very, very much. So what did you guys think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you pleased or surprised to see the creature so soon? I didn't think we'd see it until the season finale, but hey, like I said, I'm glad we got a good glimpse of it. Please feel free to leave your thoughts, opinions, and feedback down below in the comments section. I'd love to hear from everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to catch The Terror with new episodes airing every Monday night on AMC. Don't miss it. Thanks again for watching. Have a great rest of the night. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.